World Mobile is aiming to connect the unconnected, and they're officially coming to the USA. If you've never heard of the World Mobile project, they're aiming to essentially create a decentralized network built on Cardano to connect the millions of people that don't have access to the internet, as well as updated telecommunications services. Now, in today's video, I want to break down a few stats that we are going to check out on the WMT Scan application or their website. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the recent updates that they've just released, as well as the recent launch of their USA website. So if you guys want to find out more about this particular project, you guys can head over to worldmobiletoken.com, and from there you can find out and read up on exactly how this network is going to work. As I mentioned, we're going to kick things off with a brief review of WMT Scan. As we can see here, the World Mobile token price is currently sitting at about 21 cents with a market cap of $72 million US, with a total supply of 2 billion tokens, with 331,000 of those actively in supply and another 245,000 globally staked. Now, if we take a closer look here, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. This is going to be a heat map of Zanzibar, which is essentially the first location where they've started deploying air nodes for connectivity. Now, if I scroll down just a little bit, and I'm going to get myself out of the way here, what we're going to see is that there's now a total of 236 of the total air nodes deployed. Again, the majority of them being in the Zanzibar region. We now have over 2.25 terabytes of network data being consumed over the last 24 hours, with over 21,000, almost 22,000 unique users accessing their network. In terms of uptime, we are now at 253 days in a row, which the network has been up, which equates to about 70% of a single year. So this is really good information here. And again, just wanted to give you guys a brief update as to how the team is doing. Now, the more research I do about this particular project, the more bullish I do become on them. Again, this is not necessarily to make you guys invest in them. Obviously, do your own research, but they're just really organized. They do a really good job of keeping the community updated. And again, they're executing across a bunch of different areas. Now, the next thing I want to mention is going to be the launch of the World Mobile US website. So they just released a Twitter post earlier today highlighting the fact that they've now launched this particular website, which will be essentially tackling the same problem within the US. So they're going to be aiming to connect the unconnected within the United States. And I know that that kind of sounds crazy because we kind of just think sometimes that everybody within the US is already connected to the internet. But while this country, I should say, is leading within this particular space in terms of connectivity, there are still some gaps that can be filled, and they will be filled using the World Mobile Network. Now, before we jump deeper into this website here, I do want to jump into their latest dev diary, in which they basically provided some updates from the past month of December as well as early January. So first things first, it reads, they've now finalized, when it comes to their web development team, the EarthNode NFT smart contracts and the feature to claim it or forfeit it through their vaults. Now, Kaizen Crypto, who's another Cardano specific influencer, did release a video very recently showing the community how to actually go ahead and claim their EarthNode NFT. So if you guys want to find out more about how you guys can actually claim your EarthNode NFTs, I would highly recommend that you check out his video. Before we move over any further, I do also want to highlight that these are now available for trading and selling on the secondary marketplaces, most notably on jpeg.store. So here I'm at jpeg.store and I've searched for the EarthNode NFTs. And as you guys can see here, there's a total of 1,000 items or 1,000 EarthNode NFTs, each of which represents ownership of a single EarthNode. Now, right next to that, we have the 309 active owners right now. Now, I don't believe that they've all been claimed, but definitely make sure to claim them. I do believe that there's a timeline in which you can actually do that. The current floor price for these NFTs is sitting at about 90,000 ADA per NFT, with a total volume of about 827,000 since the recent release of this collection. Now, there's only a total of 11 of them listed on the marketplace right now, and I think that that's fair given the amount of utility and cost that actually goes into these EarthNode NFTs. If I'm not mistaken, the users or the people that reserved these EarthNode NFTs essentially had to lock up 100,000 of the World Mobile tokens. Jumping into the activity here, I do want to just quickly show you guys this. As we can see, we had the very first sale, which took place on January 6th of the new year, in which we saw a single EarthNode NFT sell for 135,000 ADA. Obviously, since then, the price of ADA has increased quite a bit, but we've then also seen the actual price of these EarthNode NFTs decrease slightly. So right now, the floor price, as I mentioned, is sitting at about 90,000 ADA if you're looking to pick one of these up. Jumping back into the actual update, which is here, the team has finalized and deployed the World Mobile US website. And so that's what I just showed you guys there, which we're going to dive into in just a minute. As I mentioned, these guys are not just focusing on third world countries, they will also be focusing on the United States as well. Moving right along into the node team update, I want to highlight some recent advancements for the Earth nodes. So first things first, the internal testnet has officially been released. Now this is a closed testnet, just to be transparent here, and they've now begun the onboarding of the first Earth node operators onto their internal testnet. On top of that, they begin processing feedback from EarthNode operators, supporting them and improving procedures based on their findings. And very lastly, they're working on the staking smart contract for the Earth nodes. Now they also have some additional information here about the Breath node, Air node, and Ether nodes, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to be able to dive into all of these, but I will go ahead and leave the link to this update down in the description below. The next update that I want to highlight is going to be from the native apps team. So as it states here, version 1.0 release candidate of the mobile application is now complete. So not only will you be able to essentially verify the network as well as interact with it using a traditional web browser, they're also going to have a dedicated mobile application to share with the community. They've also begun to improve the user interface, and they're essentially continuing to debug things as they continue. Now they've also got some additional updates, as I mentioned here, surrounding the systems engineering team, the InfoSec team, and then if you guys want to find out about the previous updates from the last few months, you can also go ahead and check them out here. So again, these guys are really organized and they're very transparent about all of the work that they're completing throughout their mission. Now that we have that out of the way, I'm going to jump over into their latest development, which is the official launch of worldmobile.us. As it reads here, let's connect the United States. So it looks like this particular website will be dedicated to all of their operations in progress for the US region. As it states here, they are aiming to connect the unconnected. And as I scroll down here, we can see that World Mobile is on a mission to bring low-cost, reliable internet access to underconnected areas within the United States using their cutting-edge technology. Scrolling down a little bit further, we can see that World Mobile provides the solution to connectivity, and they've basically got some simple facts here about the United States in general. So as it states here, 22.3% of Americans in rural areas lack coverage from fixed terrestrial broadband connections. On top of that, 27.7% of Native Americans living on Indian reservations land lack coverage from fixed terrestrial broadband connections, and then 24 million people in the US live in digital deserts without broadband access or internet connectivity. This is a much larger number than I actually anticipated or would have guessed, but again, this is the gap that the World Mobile Token or the World Mobile Project is aiming to fill. Now, if you guys want to find out more about how it actually works, they've got a very nice visual, which I'm just going to go ahead and just play for you guys here. As we can see here, we have what's referred to as a super air node or an aerostat. This will be floating at an elevation of 1,000 feet and providing coverage up to 40 miles. Now, this will be delivering direct connectivity to users' handsets and indirect connectivity via air nodes. So again, these will essentially be placed all throughout the different regions which need this particular type of connection. As it reads here, air nodes owned by the community will also be deployed alongside these super air nodes or aerostats in order to increase coverage and capacity. Now, when it comes to the connection itself, they'll be offering meaningful connections at a fraction of a cost of other mobile network operators. I just really like how simple they made this to understand. And for me, like I said, you guys, I've been doing my best to essentially learn about this project. And just things like this really make this a lot easier to understand. Now it says one super air node covers the equivalent of 12 traditional telecom towers. So that's really huge there. And it just kind of goes to show how wide this particular network can essentially get once it's all fully up and running. Now, as it states here, World Mobile utilizes both aerial and terrestrial infrastructure, blockchain technology, aka Cardano, as well as a few other blockchains that I believe they'll be partnering with, and hybrid connectivity to create an unstoppable people-run mobile network, offering affordable, ubiquitous coverage in extremely expensive coverage areas. Scrolling down just a little bit further, they've got a little bit more information about the super air nodes or the aerostats. Now it looks like they've already begun testing within the New Hampshire area, and as it states here, we have been testing our network and technologies across quaint towns and open spaces in New Hampshire, and our super air nodes or aerostats coupled with our ground-based air nodes provide coverage and capacity in the most cost-effective and efficient manner. So not only will they be able to reach a broader community with their super air nodes, they'll also be able to do it at a fraction of the existing cost. Now, in closing, it basically highlights their sharing economy. World Mobile's sharing economy underpins its unique network model where infrastructure is owned and operated by the people. This ensures that everyone benefits from a mobile network that is more efficient and less expensive than what is currently available. And in this picture here, we just have a member that appears to be essentially setting up one of the air nodes. In closing, I just want to quickly highlight some of the key benefits of the World Mobile Network. So as it states here, this is going to be a long-range solution, also providing a low-cost option while also being driven by a completely shared economy. And again, this approach will allow for them to connect remote and high-cost locations still left offline without damaging quality services. That is going to wrap it up for today's video, in which I've highlighted some of the recent stats as it pertains to the WMT Scan. We've also reviewed their latest development updates, as well as the recent launch of the US website. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I'm super excited for this particular project, and like I said, as I do more research and find out more about them, I just begin to have more love and more passion for what they're actually doing. Now, if you guys found some of this video to be helpful or insightful, please make sure to tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for myself or the World Mobile Project, then make sure to leave a comment down below. I will see you guys in the next video.